Boeing's
Hello, everyone.
22
This
years
is
without his
Executive
9100
Director
destroys the
of
chain of
Aerospace
trust.
Components Manufacturers, and I would suggest you pass this around because this is very important. My name is Daryl Guberman. I'm the CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, a quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. If you look me up, Jessica, look up Daryl Guberman, DARYL, GUBERMAN, Boeing, BOEING, hit images, and you'll see me standing up on April 17, 2024, at Capitol Hill at the DHS subcommittee that was listening to Sam Salapar, the whistleblower, concerning the Boeing 777-787. I am a Boeing shareholder. I am also a quality expert, that's what they say, after 40 years in aerospace, medical implants, materials, printing, and plastic distribution, where we've dealt with every industry. Jessica, I have something very important to tell you and your organization. It's very important that you get it out to them because Boeing perpetrated a fraud. So did the American National Standards Institute, and so did the American National Accreditation Board on your organization's companies. And let me go through this. After 9/11, Boeing came out and they stated that they were going to be having a layoff of 20 to 30,000 employees. 7 months later, I'm not going to get into too much detail, but I'm just going to give you enough. I suggest you call up your registrars, accreditation bodies, Boeing, because they're going to say, that guy Guberman, he's lying. Let me tell you something. I spent a month in Everett, Renton, Auburn, and Northfield with the IM-751. I spent almost a month out there talking with the employees. They didn't know what AS9100 was. They didn't know what auditing was. They just didn't know. Well, you have June 2024, a Miss Elizabeth Lund, who's now retired. Of course she retired. She escaped. She said that they were now willing to go after AS9100 for aerospace. Let's go back. In April and July, they came out with supplier bulletins. April, they came out with NADCAP. I'm sure you know what that is, for heat treatment, welding, and non-destructive testing. In July, they came out with, and they said their suppliers must be, not only NADCAP, but they must be AS9100 certified, accredited by the American National Standards Institute and the American National Accrediting Board. Jessica, what happened is ANSI-ANAB founded the International Accreditation Forum. Their sister organization, IF, has ILAC, the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation in Australia. Those two organizations are associations of accreditation bodies, both national and international, who are equivalent in accreditation to ANSI-ANAB, and ANSI-ANAB are their underwriters, which means, if you don't know legalese, it means that they are responsible for any sort of failures within the system, both systematic and product. Sitting on ANSI-ANAB's webpage called the Management System Accreditation Committee, you can't find it. I have a copy of it. I took a snapshot because I knew they were going to try to make this disappear. Those two pieces of paperwork you see me holding up, we've got plenty of those too because they took that down as well. Boeing did, because they wanted to hide their liability to your suppliers, your companies that are part of your aerospace component manufacturers. You can't make this up. So sitting on the Management System Accreditation Committee on the ANSI-ANAB was Boeing. Can grant, suspend, or withdraw certification. And by the way, Jessica, Boeing for 22 years was not AS9100 certified, yet they demanded it from your suppliers. They demanded it from your companies who sit on aerospace components manufacturers. They did. They forced it down your throat. If you don't get it, you can't supply materials to Boeing, and they kept it very close-knit. In October of 2003, ANSI connived this and made Heads Up 22. You can't find that on the internet. Guess what? We have it. We have it in books like this. We have it. We have this absolutely. And you cannot make this up. In fact, I'm sorry, it's backwards, but this is the time when we've got it all. I'll gladly come up on my own dime. I'm in Connecticut too. I'm gladly come up and give your association a seminar that when you hear this, you're going to be running after your registration companies and saying this was a fraud. And it was. All the registrars out there who were ANSI-ANAB accredited were basically at gunpoint almost, telling the company back in the day, 2002, if you don't get ANSI-ANAB accredited with AS9100, you're never going to supply materials to Boeing. And that's the way they jacked them up. I was out there. I was out there in 2011 starting my own business. I heard these nightmares. So they basically made Heads Up 22, which required AS9100 certified suppliers to be put on the OASIS database, the Online Aerospace Systems Information System that was run by the IAQG, which at that time 65% of it was basically run by Boeing, of course. And they said that if you do not, on the Online Aerospace Systems Information System, they said if you do not pay for database fees or have us put you on the database, then we'd take your cert away. In 2009, Boeing was made an agency of the FAA. That meant that they could self-certify their own aircraft technologies like the MCAS system, which killed 340 plus people, and also aircraft designs. They never had to tell the FAA like the DOJ required. Boeing lied to them, lied. Well, let me tell you something. You know what the big lie was? When I stood up the DHS subcommittee, April 17th, I went back there to see David Calhoun. The only thing he knew, the former CEO, when the Alaska door popped off, he didn't even know what an escape was. That's very problematic. Wouldn't you say so? The CEO? The only thing he knew about aerospace, Jessica, is, let me tell you something, his title is 3 golf ball getting hit off the tee. You cannot make this up. So I'm going to go through this, Jessica, because when Boeing was an FAA agency, their employees were Boeing/FAA inspectors, some of them, and they were getting paid by Boeing. Who do you think they're going to have allegiance to? Of course, Boeing. Also, that would make the FAA, that would make the CEO an FAA administrator. On top of it, when those 2 planes went down, Ethiopian Air and Indonesian Air, because of MCAS, the FAA came out and said, we never allow companies to police themselves or self-certify. So let's go along with this. If your company is AS9100 certified and accredited by ANSI-ANAB and Boeing was not, then yes, your parts could be considered compromised once they entered Boeing's non-certified system for 22 years. Why? Because AS9100 is supposed to make sure every step of making, testing, and assembling a part follows strict aerospace rules. Compliance is not certified. Like Elizabeth Lund said, we've been compliant. Oh my goodness. If Boeing isn't certified, it means there's no proof their system follows these rules. It breaks the chain of quality. What Boeing builds should be reinspected. That's between 8,000 and 12,000 planes. If Boeing didn't follow AS9100 for 22 years, no one can truly verify that their assembly process kept the parts safe, traceable, or built to the same quality level that suppliers follow. So the integrity of those aircraft is in question because certified parts were installed in an uncertified process. Okay, let's give you just one example. The doctor's office. You're the lab that makes sterile medical tools. Boeing is the hospital that never cleans its surgery room. Even though your tools are clean, once they enter the room, the patient, airplane, could get infected. Result, the system breaks down because the main user isn't certified to keep things safe. So the bottom line, your certification proves accountability and quality. Boeing's 22 years without AS9100 destroys the chain of trust. Aircraft built during that time need to be re-inspected because certified parts can't guarantee safety once inside an uncertified system. Jessica, I know it's a shock for you. Please contact me, 203-556-1493. Please do not ignore this at all. I told Politico and Bloomberg when I held those up and they wanted to interview me, they did. Mr. Guberman, we can't tell the general public Boeing gave up on-site auditing. On-site auditing is one thing at their suppliers. Critical flight safety processes like heat treat, welding, and non-destructive testing, that's critical. They gave that up for a piece of paper. Send in your part, send in your certificate, send your parts, and Boeing doesn't have to come see you. And on top of it, they aren't AS9100 for 22 years, yet they demanded it. And as an illusion, they sat on the Management System Accreditation Committee that grants, suspends, and withdraws certification. Jessica, you paid, your company, your organizations got into a fraud and they didn't know it. But remember this, the law would deem probably something different. 203-556-1493. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening when you get this. I look forward to your call.